Yeah. Hey everyone, just chat something. Send a message into our chat box. Yeah, we want to see you alive. So yeah,
Yeah, we definitely want to see everybody alive for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, good to be with you here, Sir Hay, on this
Yeah,
Tuesday.
thank you, Steve. Yeah, it was a long time. I believe it was more than a month. It was
Yeah,
yeah,
January,
almost
I think, was the
2 months.
last time we were here.
Yeah, almost 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
So thank you for being here again. Yeah,
my
because I
pleasure.
got used to have our live sessions bi-weekly, every other week. But yeah, I understand you have a lot of people to work with. So yeah,
Yeah.
we have live people over here.
Hey,
So
live
yeah, hi
people.
Chelsea. Yeah,
Yeah. So
hi
yeah,
Chelsea.
if you're out there live, you're tuning in. Tell us where you're tuning in from, and I always love to also hear what do you most want to get out of this session today.
Yeah, please interact with us. Send your comments, your ideas, maybe some of the questions because we will cover everything. We will have some interruptions to talk to the real people, live people. So do not hesitate. And if you have some emotions regarding our live session, please share your thumbs in our chat box because we cannot see, these reactions from YouTube, unfortunately. So yeah, hi Irina, hi Tech, hi Tech.
Hi, Tay.
Yeah, hello, hey Jay, Michael, hello,
Texas. All right.
Texas,
London, New Jersey, Maryland. Want to see
hey
examples of real
Summer.
life use? Alive. Yes. Michigan. Specifics on xTiles. Okay. Yeah, I'll be showing that. The way I use it. It might be helpful for you. South Africa. Awesome.
Nice.
Great to
Hi
have you here.
Dwayne, nice to have you
Pittsburgh,
today.
my home state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan.
This live session will be more about ADHD itself, but still,
Mhm.
Steve will talk about his real use case regarding xTiles. So
Yeah.
quite exciting.
Yeah. Yep. I think you'll get a good dose of both. Um, cool. And yeah, Arena says how to stop planning and start doing. We're going to talk exactly
Oh,
about that. Yeah.
that is something that we will talk about today. Yeah.
Yeah. How to implement life and put milestones. Toronto. Shelly from Toronto's here.
Argentina,
Jay's looking forward to
Sweden,
hearing anything and everything. All right. You will get both anything and everything here.
for sure. Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Shelly. Oh, emojis are broken.
But we get it. We're waving right
Yeah,
back
but
at you.
yeah, we get it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I believe people are still joining. So we have maybe another minute or so, and we are ready to start.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to share what we got. I think it'll be helpful from the ADHD front, and it'll be helpful on the xTiles front. Help people imagine what you can do and see some specifics the way I lay things out, and the power of the tool and how they can work together. So we'll be starting off with some of the ADHD stuff, and there'll be a demo a little bit later on in the presentation that I'll walk through my setup, and I think that'll be helpful for folks. All right, it's got some another person from Toronto.
Hello.
Yeah, Toronto is well represented here. Boston. I spent time in Boston. Went to school there.
Hi, Fabio. Good to see you as well.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Summer, for sharing.
Okay. Make sure I got everything on my screen set up. Get all my clutter done. Yes.
Yeah, more people are joining. Please do not hesitate to say hi and share where do you join from. It's always exciting because we have a lot of people, like across the globe. So yeah,
All
teacher
right,
in
teacher in
Arizona.
Arizona. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, some of this stuff may be helpful for them, but I think the what I'll talk about, I think, will be universal for ADHD brains. There'll be more some specifics for ADHD entrepreneurs, but the problem set starts at the same level.
xTiles set up specifically for ADHD. Yeah, it is something that Steve will share.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, and I think it'll make a lot of sense. Well, should we get started? We're at 5 after.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right. Well, let's get this party started.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right, folks. I'm going to put this over here. So if I'm looking at, I have two screens. So if I'm looking to the side, you'll know why. But my main screen will be in front of me, so I'll be looking right at you. All right. Okay, so topic today is from weekly wins to monthly momentum, how to make real progress with an ADHD brain. Yeah, and this is something that we're going to get into. And I've been working on and experiencing well, let me just get into it and say, well, where do we start here? So I want to tell you a little bit about me, and I'm going to start with a story here. This is me in Portugal in 2023. Actually had just been diagnosed a few months earlier at age 54 with ADHD. And I was in Portugal because I have been a founder coach. I coach a lot of startup founders, a lot of business entrepreneurs, and I had been hired to facilitate a VC's yearly retreat for their founders in Portugal. Beautiful setting, amazing people, high powered VC, and it was, on one level from the outside, it was like the peak of my coaching career, right? But on another level, it was also the nadir. It was like I was 3 months in, I was into Adderall, and it was starting to fade. And what I was experiencing was something really interesting. Is because ADHD presents in a lot of different ways, uh, and sometimes even though we have it, we can be really successful, but we're doing it at a cost. So if you looked at me from the outside, you'd say, "Okay, this guy is pretty successful. I took my first startup from idea to a multi-million-dollar exit. That's me in winning an angel competition, not the guy in the costume in Portland, Oregon. We keep it a little weird." Um, and then had a successful exit, worked for the company that bought ours, and then left that and was created a multi-six-figure coaching practice, and that's where that brought me to Portugal. So on the outside, super successful, right? Like, hey, looks pretty good, but there was a real cost, and all along I was paying this ADHD tax, and I didn't know it, right? Because I was not somebody who was hyper growing up, and there's different forms of ADHD, right? There's the hyperactive and impulsive ADHD, and there's the inattentive ADHD, and they're combined. And I was very much the inattentive, so I was never diagnosed with ADHD. I didn't know what was going on over the course of my life, but it kind of reached ahead as I got older, because I was paying this price along the way, and I always felt overwhelmed. There was a daily struggle to focus. I would have all these brilliant ideas that would just be half executed. I knew I was underperforming creatively and financially because I knew these things could work. I knew the ideas could work, the things that I was doing, and yet I was having some success, but I knew I was leaving so much on the table, and that was really challenging to constantly experience, and it really, really got into my head, and I could never ever relax. Like, that's the big thing. There's this kind of sense of like, if I stop for a moment, then then bad things are going to happen. So I could never really relax, and I got into this place where I was just totally burnt out. And that's where and just as I was kind of reaching that pinnacle there with the retreat, like, it was very much one appearance on the outside and a very different experience on the inside. So And it gets worse as we got older, as I got older, right? I just in your 50s, you don't have the energy you do in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. It's just life. And then and for women, when you have the hormonal changes in later in life, and that also plays havoc with things. So the realization hit me at that moment, at that as I wound down from that retreat that I was leading, this really big high turned to this really low, and I just realized I couldn't really go on this way, right? The meds helped sometimes. The Adderall was actually fading, but they weren't the whole solution, right? There was something I was missing. Um, the productivity systems that I tried, and I tried so many of them, the getting things done and the tiny habits, all the things, they just weren't working for my brain, right? Um, for some reason, I just couldn't stick with them for any length of time. And I just realized, okay, I need to better understand my brain, and I need a completely different approach that starts with that. So the big thing that I learned is, like, once you know how to work, you understand your ADHD brain, and you know how to work with it, everything unlocks. And I want to, I've been working on this for myself for the last 3 years and seeing a really amazing progress. And I've been helping other people do that. And I'll tell you more about that later. But I just want to say, if you're in that position where you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't, you know, like I'm doing, but I'm not really thriving in the way that I hoped, that um, there is hope, and there is a way to work with ADHD and succeed. And this is one of the folks who just went through one of my recent focus formula cohort, where she said, I felt like my whole life, what's wrong with me? The changes that I've been trying to make for years, I've achieved in a couple of months. Now I feel that that barrier has been removed, and I feel really confident that I can do anything I want to achieve and create, I can do. So just to give you guys that sense of, yeah, there is hope here. If because ADHD can really rob your self-trust and self-confidence, but once you learn how to work with your brain, and this is what we're going to talk about, everything unlocks, right? So what you're going to learn today is, I'll show you what it's taken me the last 3 years to figure out, of really going deep into it. And that is 3 problems every ADHD brain faces, how to address these problems, and then how you can build a system that turns weekly wins into monthly momentum. And this can happen in as short as 6 weeks. So, okay. So, folks, looks like folks are relating out there.
Yeah, we have
88,
some comments.
yeah, ADHD tax is so very real. Um, People can relate. ADHD times 2 with perimenopause, times 3 with AFib, and times 4 with sleep apnea. Oh boy, yeah, that is gonna definitely, definitely make ADHD tougher. So, yeah, it's very real. And so we're going to talk about, we're going to break this down. So I think it's in a pretty understandable way, and make it approachable in how to solve these things. So let's talk about the three big ADHD problems. We're going to start with problem number 1, the scattered week, right? Um, this is how it presents. Like, and the reason I picked this is because maybe your week is like this. Like, you start off on Monday, and it's like you've got this, you know, ambitious list. This is the week you're going to do it. And then Tuesday hits, and all of a sudden these unexpected tasks and fires start to pop up, and you start to feel a little behind, a little distracted. Then by Wednesday, you're like, how is it already Wednesday? And you start to lose confidence in the plan of the week and in yourself. And then Thursday, it's like, okay, panic mode. I haven't done enough. And then it's like, okay, what should I focus on now? And then we actually end up avoiding the really important thing by doing everything else. And then Friday, it's like surveying the wreckage and having a bit of a guilt spiral. Why can't I just get it together? And that's when we go into the Googling new planners and systems. And then the weekend is about catching up on everything you didn't get done, setting a new plan, and starting the cycle over again. Does this resonate for folks out there? Have you guys experienced weeks like this? Because I know I have. And it's really hard to make progress in life with these.
I believe it's a common issue even for people without any ADHD, because you feel yourself super motivated on Monday, but then it's Tuesday at night almost, and you have a bunch of stuff to do. Yeah.
Yep,
That is my week. Yeah, that is my week as well, unfortunately.
yeah. So what's going on here? So what we're up against is so ADHD is really a challenge of executive function. And executive function controls our ability to actually organize and motivate and get things started and basically be the executive of our system. Um, and um, and so what we're up against is a brain that makes has a real challenge of putting things in order or in sequence and importance. So everything is equally important, everything is equally urgent, and so we're up against this great wall of everything now, right? Everything feels like it has to be done right now, so we're always feeling a little behind or a lot behind and, drowning. And so this makes us work hard, like, but not make progress, or the progress we want. And it's in this constant reactivity. Like, we're trying to get the things we want done, but all this other stuff is coming at us. It's outside requests, whether it's emails or fire drills, and then inside we have more ideas coming and more emotions and rejection sensitivity and overwhelm. And ultimately, it's like this feeling of this great wall of everything now and never quite feeling free. So, a big part of this is the time frame. So ADHD brains have what's called time blindness. It's when you have lower executive functioning, your sense of time is a little interesting, and so it's not just even like feeling like an hour can feel like a minute or a minute can feel like an hour, depending how interested or focused we are in something. It can be more about how do we actually put things in a sequence? How do we actually like look at time and put things in a sequence? Because uh, ADHD brains have a way of feeling like time is there's like now and not now, and those are the two choices. And so we got to work with the right time frame, right? And so narrowing the time frame into weeks makes a lot of sense because years and quarters often too far out. Our brains cannot motivate and cannot like grasp. Okay, so how does that all work? And days are too variable. Like our days can blow up in a heartbeat, with a client fire or family thing, or just life is interesting that way. And then really, if you think about your months, it just depends on stringing together a few good weeks, right? So if we have good weeks, we're going to have good months, right? And so a week is something that is a great container because one, it's manageable, and two, it's a forcing function. We know we can only get so much done in the weeks. So what's a good week, right? A good week is three things, right? Do we know what's important? Can we prioritize the right things? Do we actually make progress on those things, right? And if we do, and then do we actually meet our ADHD brain where it's at? Because this is actually the third thing is so important because we're going to show up on different days with different levels of executive function and different levels of being able to focus. And so we need to respect where our brain is because if we keep pummeling it time after time again and say, do more, do more, do more, eventually our brain is going to just say, no, screw it. It's going to get exhausted and tired. And so we have to like just acknowledge that this is the way our brain works. And it's hugely liberating. The people who start to look at it that way say, oh man, this is the way, like I can accept that my brain needs this thing today or will be able to do these things today. And that's okay. Right. Versus saying my brain just is, I'm just sort of messed up. So, yeah. So, okay. So how do we create the focused week, right? And prioritizing is the way out of overwhelm. Prioritizing is putting things in a sequence, hard for ADHD brain. So how do we do that? How can we confidently prioritize? Because if we can do that, we create a focused week, and then at least we know we can make progress, right? And so there's three elements that I've seen that really help. This is the things that I teach. A magnetic north, something that we know where we're going. So the thing that has been driving me crazy is this focus on productivity. Productivity is great. That means you get a lot of stuff done, but it doesn't mean you make progress. That you're actually making progress, right? Progress is when you move in the direction of something, right? And the so we need to have a place we know we're going, and I call it the magnetic north because it's what our mission and our vision is. What are we here to do? What do we want to impact? And how do we want our life to look? If we have that and we keep coming back to that, then we'll always have a direction. So, without that, we can't actually decide what's important because what's important is what gets us closer to magnetic north. And so that's the first step. Then the second step is having what I call rock-based prioritization. That is then breaking down the steps from where you are now towards your magnetic north and saying, okay, these are important. These are the rocks. These are the things that the analogy is the rocks. You have your capacity is a glass jar, and the things you can put in are the rocks, the things that move you forward to your magnetic north, the pebbles, which are the important things that still have to get done, and the sand, which is kind of like the admin and the constant noise. If you don't put the rocks in first, the jar will fill up with the pebbles and sand. So we have to prioritize the big rocks first. Right. And then the project reality checker is a useful tool that I use because we are not good at estimating how long things takes. We are very bad. ADHD brains are challenged to unpack a big project and um, figure out the little stuff in it and all that it takes. So having a way to project reality check, I'll talk more about that later, really helps. And when you put these things in place, like all of a sudden you go from a scattered week to a focused week. So as Michael here, who was in my last focus forum cohort, said, having my magnetic north and rocks defined has helped me calm the overwhelm, and having a weekly focus has to create a time container that doesn't feel too big or too small. Okay, so that is problem one. Problem two is what I call the dopamine desert. Is just before I go on to dopamine desert, problem one, did that make sense for folks? The scattered week, did that resonate? Are you guys feeling that? You see how that can turn if your weeks are more focused, then you can make more progress.
Yeah, it's life-changing experience when you understand that making your to-do doesn't mean that you are making a real progress, achieving your goals, whatever. So yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, let's get on to problem number two, the dopamine desert.
Yes,
So,
and
oh,
yeah, my apologies, Steve, because our recording is slightly behind,
mhm,
and now we have a lot of comments. Yes,
yep,
just say yes.
awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
nice. Thanks for sharing. Oh, a lot of comments, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, the truth. The dopamine desert. So, okay, so if we get the focus week, if we get our priorities, that's all good. But our ADHD brains have a hard time with procrastination and distraction and getting in motion, actually doing thing. And we're going to talk about why that is. So the dopamine desert. So why do ADHD brains get stuck? Why is it so hard to just do the thing you should do? Right? The thing you actually want to do. That you said, I want to make this thing happen, and this is the next thing I need to do, and I can't do it. I show up to my computer, I show up to wherever, and I'm just like, you look, 3 hours go by, and you're like, what happened to that time? Right. And so here's what's going on. So there's two things that get an ADHD brain into motion, into action. One is intense interest, right? Is like, if we're into a topic, we will study it and we will get obsessed about it. We will hyper focus till the cows come home. And on the other end is urgent consequence. Like when it comes to deadline, or like we got to do it, we'll finally get into motion and we'll do like 3 days of work in one night. And so what happens is we have this action curve of like, hey, intense interest, we're going to go way up and we're going to like do stuff. And then the interest is going to fade. And then we're going to like kind of like have a hard time getting going again. And then we have this urgent consequence come, and then we cycle up again, and then we crash. Right. And so what's going on is like ADHD brains have a lower level dopamine. So they're always thirsty for dopamine. And intense interest is a dopamine. It's novelty, it's learning, it's connections. And that is dopamine generating. Urgent consequences, it's sort of like dopamine, but with a cortisol twist. So that gets us going. And so what happens is we're super reactive. So, but everywhere in between, when there's not intense interest, when there's not urgent consequence, that, my friends, is the dopamine desert, right? It is really hard for an ADHD brain to go and sit down and do something without intense interest and urgent consequences. And the thing is, this is where brilliant ideas go to die, is the dopamine desert, right? Because we'll have the interest, we'll do it, and then unless there's an urgent consequence, we're not going to be able to move forward. And I will say that this is really important to realize, that why the desert happens, why does it appear? It is wiring, it is not character. we've probably been told a lot of our lives that, "Oh, we have so much potential if we could just, get organized or get ourselves together or get in motion." Um, and we will get to the point where it's like, we need more discipline. We need to be, we're flawed. We're just not, we don't have it, whatever that it is. But it's not a discipline problem. It's not a character flaw. It's a wiring thing. It's a specific challenge in how our brains manage and execute tasks. And once we know that and accept that and say, okay, so I have this type of brain, it's really good at like the idea generation and connection and doing that. And then it's kind of hard for it to like do things when there is not a deadline. Um, and so how do we make our way through the desert? And if there's one thing you take away from this, um, navigating the desert is really the whole game, right? Because you can have the best plans and priorities, but if you're not able to like get into action, if you're not able to move through the dopamine desert, then uh, you just have good plans. And this is why it's so key. Now, getting into action, it's a lot easier when you're not overwhelmed, when you have clarity on what's important. That makes things easier. But here's what I found um, is helpful for crossing the dopamine desert. How do you beat procrastination and distraction? Um, so how do you consist? And basically, it's about consistently starting, focusing, and getting to the finish. So the first concept I like to use is a 2-hour workday, and it doesn't mean you only work 2 hours a day. What it means is that you have a certain amount of executive function every day that you can deploy. And for me, at my age, it's like 2 hours is really, really good peak. Now, some days is more, some days is less, but I just think, okay, if I only had 2 hours of really peak executive function, where do I want to put my most important stuff there. I want to put the things that are going to move me forward, and that's going to give me the best chance um, of navigating of getting started, of doing the thing, and um, moving through the desert. The other things I'll need is a focus shield. Like we have uh, a less impulse control as an ADHD brain, so distractions and notifications are that much more powerful for us. So we have to be very careful or very strategic about the discipline and willpower that we do have. So we want to use that, say, for like turning on our notification blockers or our turning off email versus trying to resist each individual notification, right? It's about setting our environment in the best way we can versus like trying to like white knuckle every notification. And then a no fail starting is about finding what are the conditions that help you start. So for me, one of the things is like co-working and body doubling is key. Like when I show up with other people and tell them what I've got to do, want to do, I will do stuff. And there's a couple of reasons why that works. One is it's accountability, but another reason that I learned, one of the things, the challenge is with ADHD is we're easily emotionally dysregulated. And when we get emotionally dysregulated, our nervous system gets dysregulated, we get into the spin of overwhelm and emotions, is that we actually lose access to our executive function when we get dysregulated. So in the co-working groups that I host, like it is like a group co-regulation as well as accountability. So everybody's chilled. Everybody understands we're all ADHD brains. It's all good. However you show up is how you are. And, we work with it. And it just creates this level or this way of being able to do stuff. And, here's Christine also from my most recent focus formula cohort saying like, she doesn't dilly dally in paralysis anymore, which is huge. Finishing things in advance, not at ninth hour. Fewer things planned every week, but guess what? Those things are getting done, right? That's what we're looking to make happen, right? And ADHD brains can do this, but we just need the right support for it. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like one of the comments. Feels like you're in my head.
Yeah, I'm glad it's resonating. Yeah, it feels like I might feel like I'm in your head because I lived this, right? All your best ideas are living in the desert. Yeah, it's like they're there, they're amazing. We have to move them through the desert. No shame, accountability. Yeah, working together works much better for me than a weekly accountability chat. And that's why with every whether I'm private coaching, whether I'm doing a focus formula cohort, It is there is daily co-working available for everybody because it has to me it's like the magic of moving through the desert. I like to say when you're going to go through the desert, go with a caravan, go with your tribe, and it works, right? More executive function collectively than we do alone. All right. Now, this is a third problem, and that is the inevitable drift. So, how many of you out there have like gotten into a productivity system or tool or something like that, and it goes well for a little while, and then it starts to fade, like you start to drift a little bit. So what I call it the inevitable drift. How many people have experienced that out there? I know I have over the years. Plus, yes. A person of a few characters, but make them count. Yep. Awesome. Good stuff. Um, right. So this is the third thing, right? So if we're able to like get our weeks focused, awesome. If we're able to start moving through the dopamine desert and getting the stuff done that we want to focus on, um, great. But if we can't keep doing this over time and sustain it over time, we run into issues. So this is a guy I know who's big in e-commerce, drop shipping, and he says this, but a lot of other people say it too. And the secret is boring, brutal consistency. The calm of consistency is where the compounding happens. And the the thing about that is yes, that's true. Like over over time and compounding is not just for your bank accounts. It's not just interest rate. It works for you in life and in business, right? Is that over time it works for you or it does not, or works against you, right? So ADHD brains are master starters and they're not good in terms of being able to sustain things over time because novelty is dopamine, and when that fades, it gets harder to stay. So in order for us to make the progress we want, so we get to keep crossing the dopamine desert and to get where we want to go, we have to like deal with this. We have to deal with the inevitable drift, right? The graveyard of planning systems and things like that, right? And that's again how to just if we know how our brain works, we can devise strategies for it. And here's why nothing sticks, why the inevitable drift happens, right? It's really easy for us to lose sight of our magnetic north of where we want to go, right? And so we'll start going in all the different directions. And part of what ADHD involves is what they call a lower level of working memory. That's your short-term memory. That's the things that keeps things that are out of sight in mind. So basically out of sight, out of mind. And so having things constantly be in front of you, like where you want to go, being reminded every day visually of here's your magnetic north, here's where we're going, here's why we're doing all this, because inevitably we're going to get pulled in lots of different directions. Life bumps us off course. Like life's like it just does. And as you move through life, it has different ways of lifing at you. And it's really easy to get uh, bumped off your course. And the challenge is to bring yourself back. And that's one of the big skills we teach in the focus formula course is how to bring yourself back, because everybody can get started on focusing or get started on a system. But the big skill is like, you're going to get bumped off. It's not when, it's if, or it's not if, it's when. It's going to happen. Right. And so bringing yourself back is like a huge, huge skill. Lapsing into reactive productivity. I was doing a session and one person said, everybody says the ADHD spirit animal is the squirrel, but for me, it's the hamster, he says. And I said, well, what's that? He said, like, because I'm on my wheel and I feel like if I don't keep doing and doing and doing and doing, like I'm going to fall hopelessly behind and everything's going to fall apart. But he's not getting anywhere. And so that reactive productivity of like, I'll just keep doing stuff and then hopefully it'll be taking me in the right direction. It's sometimes easier because it's easier to react, to be in reactive mode than to like take the time and be into proactive progress. And of course, shiny objects. Like the world is interesting and has lots of interesting things, and anything new is kind of interesting. And so that they're also always out there beckoning. And that's the big shift, right? Is ADHD brains, as I said at the beginning, tend to be reactive, right? We're reacting to dopamine, our brain trying to get dopamine. We're reacting to shiny objects, or we're reacting to all these things. And the real life, making progress in life in the ways you want to, is about being proactive and doing that over time so it compounds. Even if it's not like hugely, like huge steps every day, every week, but if it's that consistency of a little bit in the right direction every day. So how do you avoid the inevitable drift? How do you stick with stuff? And this is about sustaining over time. So one thing, three things here is, one is dopamine management. Is like, you got to just be aware that your brain's gonna needs dopamine. You have to care for it. So spikes and troughs of things will drain you over time. And then the self-care of sleep, of nutrition, of movement, those things that are good for your body are also good for that, because if you have to like keep that consistency. The next thing is rituals versus routines. Routines are boring. ADHD brains do not like boring and will not do boring. So the idea of rituals is something we teach, and that is about, it's not just something you do, it's something that has meaning, or it has fun to it, or it has some added dopamine. How do you inject the dopamine into the thing that you need to do over time? Because you know the dopamine is going to fade. And you know the consistency is really challenging, and you know the win is in the consistency. So having rituals that keep you coming back is huge. And then a supportive tribe, right? An ongoing supportive tribe. It's really hard to do this alone, right? Because when you do it alone, is so easy to just get lost. And so this is Sarah, who's also in the focus group, focus forum. She said, identifying 3 big rocks, not 23, has made a huge difference. Working backwards from those project deadlines helped me plan for my next 6 months, and therefore structure what needs to be done each week. And so you can see that once you start putting these things in place, if you're working with your week as the kind of organizing time frame, if you've got your techniques for actually, you have your weeks defined as you know what's important, and then you're able to make progress with those weeks in crossing the dopamine desert, and then being able to do that over time, you're going to make progress, and that's life changing. So what I want to do is show you about how this can look like tactically in xTiles, and then we'll talk more about the other things. Sound good?
Exciting part.
Are you still, Sergey? I'm not hearing your sound if you're talking.
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe other people can. Maybe it's just on my end. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to share my xTiles. Can everybody hear Sergey? Okay, it's just something about on my setup must be going a little. Let me just check that, because I do want to hear Sergey.
Yeah, I was saying that it was like, it should be one of the most exciting parts of our live session.
Got it now.
Yeah, it works.
I see. Let's see here. And look, my sound settings did something funky there. Make sure the microphone's still set to the right place. Yeah, good. Okay, just my output just went crazy. All right, so let's look at this a little bit more practically with how I lay it out in xTiles. So let me share. All right. So here's my xTiles dashboard, and let it pop up on the screen there. So Sarah, I figured out that you can actually use GIFs in the as the cover image. So I have a little bit of a peaceful cloud setting for my dashboard. Just helps chill me out.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
You'll see in my weekly dashboard. So I've taken this into my planner, and so I have in the planner view, I have my week, And this is where I do most of my work within xTiles. Um, and so you'll see here that we've got sections for my magnetic north. I always keep that in front of me because um, I need to see it, right? Because anytime I get spun up or I'm trying to make a decision, I need to come back here and say, okay, what am I here for? What am I here to do? Help ADHD entrepreneurs get out of overwhelm, reclaim their focus, and feel free in business and life. I've got my self care, and then I've got my rocks for how I'm going to make my make progress towards my magnetic north. Now you'll see here something I just added in recently is I've created an AI version of me called Other Steve. And this also I love about xTiles is I can embed that in I now have it in there um, with so I can ask me and I've taught it all my frameworks and taught it all my coaching techniques and everything like that. So I have a kind of a me to reflect back, and sometimes that is really helpful. Um, so I love that xTiles, and I can't embed Claude or I can't embed ChatGPT in here, but I can embed Other Steve. So that's pretty cool. Um, cool. And then I'll have my priorities. I'll brain dump all the different projects that I could do. Um, and then I break those down and sort of narrow them for the week. And these are my priorities, my 2 hour workday priorities. And then I love this in that I have a most important thing of the week, which was this webinar, and I've got a launch for the course I'll be telling you about. And then Monday, and then here's my days, right? Um, so that to me is this is like my home base for my work life and often my personal life as well. I'll embed things in there as well. And I've just really used this as my base template for how I move through my week. And what I like about it is I can move things around if something gets scheduled in a different or has to be rescheduled, and I just give it the date and it'll slip into the next appropriate week. So this has been evolving. Those of you who have seen me present before can have seen how this evolves each time I do it because I just keep discovering new things. So what I wanted to also talk about, show you was what I'm doing for the quarter view, because this was about creating weekly wins and monthly momentum. And so one of the things that I think is really important for ADHD brains is to be able to visualize what the path is. So this is something that I've come up with that I've taught in the focus formula. And this is about having kind of more of a map view of it and say, okay, here's my 6-month map. Here's my magnetic north. And I just use this to guide my what my thinking. So I here's where I want to end up. Here's I'll talk about what needs to be true 6 months out. Then 3 months out, what needs to be true in order for me to be on path. And then a month from now, and this was done in January, and I didn't update that one. And then where I am now, and then what might stop me. Right. So to me, now I can have when I need to zoom out, and I've got this kind of visual representation. And so this is what I really liked about xTiles, being able to help me position things and lay things out in a way that helps me kind of visualize it.
Yeah,
Cool.
are there
All right. So
animated
that is
covers or
my xTiles demo. So feel free to ask me any questions about that. Of course, Sarah Hayes, the real expert on xTiles, but this is the thing that is the how we implement it in how I implement this stuff. And it's something that if you're interested in, I'll be talking about the focus formula course, and there's a bonus where we actually build this for you, build your version of it for you. This question, how long did it take to set up? Was it coming step by step? I've been working with it for over the last 6 months. So there's you can get a basic template that isn't integrated with my planner. And that is and it's just evolved as I've gotten, as xTiles has I don't even think my planner was even there when I first started with xTiles, and then it came, and then it was like, okay, now I can integrate this stuff. Um, Other Steve is an AI tool that I found that helps coaches create an AI tool, and that's part of you get with our focus formula too, is that you get 24/7 access to that. You said 13's world said looks amazing. I have no idea how to get there. Yeah, if it's a little step by step, but also I'll tell you about how we can also help you do that. Okay, so let's see. Any other questions on that? Where are my wins? That is a really good point. My wins generally have been in my old month view. I had this older monthly view, and let's see, did I have it filled in? Yeah. So this was like uh, a work in progress of doing wins on the monthly basis, and that's a process that we do monthly. Cool. All right. Let's see. I have a link to a basic version of this that's not integrated with my planner, but I'm gonna jump back in the presentation and give you an opportunity to, address all these questions as well. Okay. So Sarah, yeah, I've kind of moved things along a little bit.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, but it looks nice, and I like the animated cover. It's like super exciting, like it looks like their life inside. So things are moving forward. It's not some static. Probably something with sound.
All right. Cool. Yeah, my AirPod. I figured out what was going on. My AirPods keep trying to grab my sound, and I've told that to go away officially.
Oh, you are fired.
Cool. So yeah, I've been playing with it a lot. So, okay, so let's finish up here. We've got just a little bit of time, and share back to the deck. All right. So here's what we covered. Right, the 3 ADHD problems: the scattered week, the dopamine desert, and the inevitable drift. So how do we solve for that? And the formula to solve is we have to be able to confidently prioritize and decide. We have to be able to consistently start, focus, and finish, cross the desert, and then we have to sustain over time and beat the drift. And if we do that, we'll make good. So it really comes down to being able to decide, being able to do, and be able to sustain over time. Right. And so what changes when we do this is so I just brought a bunch of people through the focus formula in last month. This is my program, my 6-week course. And I just want to share some of the transformations that have happened. So Karina said, I made a massive career pivot during this program. I'm now working with another company that's taking literally all the stupid stuff off my plate, all the high rejection sensitivity things that have been preventing me from growing my business. I only have to show up in the way I enjoy. I'm excited. Ruth said, I feel more calm. I have a solid mission and vision, concrete and actionable. I was finally able to decide what's most important and be okay with saying no, which was huge. Mark said, I feel a lot less weight on my shoulder as I have a clear understanding of my current time restraints with work and the limits that it brings. I plan my weeks better as I can now set realistic goals and targets, which has resulted in less procrastination and more progress. And then Jessica said, if you have ADHD and struggle with the overwhelm in your work and life, this is worth checking out. It transformed my work weeks in just a short time, literally from week 1. And now I look forward to making steady progress towards my goals. It's a game changer for ADHD entrepreneurs. So it works. Like when you're able to do these things, it works. Like you can really make huge progress. You can leverage the creativity that ADHD gives you, and you can actually make good on your brilliance. So, uh, so there's two options for you today. You can take what you've learned today. Shared all the specific, components. You can take that and figure it out and implement on your own. It's awesome. Or door number two is get support to install it and make it stick. And that's what I want to talk to you about right now. And this is an invitation for you. The spring cohort of the focus formula is starting March 24th. So 2 weeks from today. And you can turn your brilliant chaos into consistent growth and freedom. And in 6 weeks, you'll build and tune a weekly system that works with your ADHD brain so you can prioritize what matters, get started with ease, stay focused through the finish, and end your weeks feeling calmer, capable, and proud of your progress, just like the folks that you just saw on the previous slide. So here's what you'll learn. In the first module, you'll learn about your week and ADHD so that you can understand the patterns that are actually affecting your week and see how why the weekly system is the way to unlock it. In module 2, you learn to decide. You'll be able to break down the overwhelm, prioritize what drives your business forward so you can start each week knowing what's important, knowing how to make progress, where you can put your efforts. In module 3, it's about doing and going through the dopamine desert. You actually do your plan. You transform those ideas into achievements. You start focused and make real progress so your business and life becomes what you want it to be. And then sustain it over time, right? Manage the energy and dopamine for steady growth and not burnout cycles so you can get the advantage of the compounding, see those results go, and get where you want to go and experience life in a very different way. All right. Hopefully that's sounding pretty good. So what's included in the program? It's 6 weeks of high-level complete support. You get a 5-module online course, 25 concise lessons, daily co-working sessions. Like I said, really important. We have an amazing co-working community. There are 15 different sessions available each week, starting at the early morning Eastern time, 7:15 a.m. Eastern time, and going to 1 p.m. Eastern time. We'll do the math in your own time zone, but there's 6 hours of co-working available each day. There's a weekly live group coaching session with me every Tuesday. We go for 90 minutes, and anything you can bring, you get to talk directly with me. Every response you make in the course, you get personalized feedback from me. Right. This is it's a very small cohort type of program, and it's all with me. You don't work with another coach. You work with me. And you get advanced training in the xTiles weekly dashboard, and we show you how to set it up and all that. Also, this is new for this cohort, 24/7 access to other Steve, my AI coaching brain. So I trained other Steve on everything I've learned in the focus formula, the whole framework. So as you're going through the course, you don't have to wait till Tuesdays to get feedback from me. You have other Steve as well. And that's built right into the course and is available 24/7 the whole 6 weeks. So it's amazing in the sense that if you're going through an exercise, you can ask it to help, for your specific questions. So really cool new feature added to the course. And then we have some awesome bonuses. So the first 10 people, and I think we've got, 3 people have already claimed this. I think we have 7 left. It will actually do a private weekly dashboard or xTiles dashboard build session one-on-one. So it's tailored for you and your business. So that alone is, a $250 value there. You get an xTiles Plus year subscription. If you already have one, you get it extended for a year. Your favorite tool for clarity and momentum. And then emotional regulation is really important to make progress with ADHD. So we have the 6 techniques for ADHD emotional regulation mini course that's part of this, and then a 5-day cash boost mini course as well for those for the business side of things, where to find cash. So you get all that. You get the course, the online course, the weekly live group coaching sessions, the daily co-working sessions, the personalized feedback and responses, 24/7 ADHD other Steve coach, the xTiles weekly dashboard, the bonuses. If you're one of the first 10 people, we have, like I said, we have a few spots left. And private weekly dashboard build session, the xTiles Plus year subscription, 6 techniques for ADHD emotion regulation mini course, 5-day cash bonus course. So basically, $1,500 in value, and this cohort is $997 or 3 payments of $375. And Sergey just put the link in the chat where you can go and apply. Dates are March 24th to May 1st. It's an amazing program. There's full details are at that link, and you can apply. And one more thing, it's guaranteed. Like, I know it's an investment, and I really want to honor that. So it's my personal guarantee. You'll build this system, you'll get this system, and you're gonna, if you get to the end of it and you don't feel like you got it, then we'll refund your money. The ask is you do have to show up, complete the lessons, show up to at least 2 of the co-working sessions a week and 4 of the 6 weekly live group coaching sessions. Cool. And let's see. And so that's it, really. If you're ready to stop spinning and start making progress, I want to just share one of the people who was just in the last cohort, and she says, I'm a bit stunned at the progress over 6 weeks. I actually planned the weekend before, consider priorities, real deadlines, real capacity. I start the week calm and knowing where to start rather than scattered and paralyzed. My future me is relaxing and smiling. And I'd love that for everybody. So this is a program that aims to give you that. If that's interesting to you, if you want to apply, go ahead and apply, because we've just seen such amazing results from it. Okay, that's what I got. I guess we can take questions for a few more minutes.
Yeah, we have a couple of minutes left. So if you have some of the questions related to Steve's focus formula or maybe related to xTiles, we can answer. And I just want to say from my side, thanks, Steve, a lot for showing up again. Something that I really like to do. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sir. Steve, and other Steve. Oh, yeah. Now I'm surrounded with many Steves at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah,
Also,
thanks a lot. Yeah, and just wanted to say thank you for, all of your comments. It was quite active one. So thanks a lot. This live session is recorded, so you will get your link for recording afterwards. Like in 2 minutes, you will get some automated email with all the details where to watch it. But basically, it's on our YouTube channel. Thank you for participating. It's always amazing to share some knowledge, and at least for me, just to be guided by Steve, and he's sharing amazing stuff and his personal experience, which I believe that's why people say that he reads their minds.
Yeah, it's always great to be here. I so appreciate the partnership with xTiles, and then we do this, Sergey. And my goal is here. I have my program, but my bigger thing is, I want to support everybody in the way that I can, and so yeah, I wanted to just put it out there, and hopefully you found this to be valuable.
By the way, we have
yeah, no matter how you interact with it.
Yeah, we have a question regarding how do you find recording wins helps?
I think it's important to acknowledge wins. The thing about wins, is that ADHD brains will very quickly forget what happened previously, like even earlier in the week. And so, like, even on Friday, we have a ritual in our co-working where we actually go around and ask everybody to celebrate a win, because we have such a ADHD brains are so easily diminish and forget about the things we actually do achieve. So it's really important to take the things that are out of sight and put them in mind. So I do find it helpful, but I think you have to. It's really helpful to do it with a group and celebrate others' wins as well. And that's that to me is the key. Hope that
Yeah,
helps.
and as Steve mentioned, it sounds like an investing, but I believe investing in yourself is the best kind of investments possible. So yeah, I believe it is something, and you have seen a lot of testimonials and some, like feedback from real people. So yeah, I believe there's some opportunities that you need to grab and to use.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I believe that's it.
Mhm.
Thank you all. Thanks for sharing, Jenna, Dwayne, everybody. Thanks for being a part of this live session. Thank you so much, Steve. I hope you will have a lot of students during this cohort, your
Yeah.
next
We've already
cohort, and yeah,
Yeah, we already got at least one application that's come in. So it's an amazing program. Just see the transformations that happen. So yeah, if you'd like to apply, we'd love to have you. And yeah, just hope this has been really helpful and that you know you're able to take some things away from this, and that'll help you going forward. That's what we're here for.
amazing, amazing. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you so much, Steve, and I will see you in the next couple of months, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah,
yeah, I'll circle back with you. We'll see you soon.
yeah. See you all. Thank you.